Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for the very first episode of Civilization 7 Tips, where I am going to be giving you plenty of information on the game mechanics in Civilization 7 and how you can use them to improve your game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into things, where today we're going to be talking about the district system in Civilization 7. In Civilization 7, there are two types of districts. There are rural districts and there are urban districts, and each of them have their own unique mechanics and things that advance throughout the game. Let's go ahead and start with the simpler of the two, which is rural districts. So rural districts are gained whenever your city grows in population. So whenever this wheel right here reaches the end, so you can see right now we have 5 turns until our city grows, and then this number will show a 3. Whenever your city grows, you will gain a rural population. So you will get this option here that says Grow City. If you click this, you'll see we bring up this menu that has various options for where you can place down your rural district. Now, what does a rural district do? So a rural district will give you all of the yields that are available on a tile. So if I place the rural district here, I will gain access to 1 food, 1 production, 1 gold, and 1 happiness. If I place the rural district here, I will gain access to the 1 gold that is on this tile. If you place a rural district on a resource, such as this tile over here, which is obviously out of my range for right now, but if I were to place a rural district on this cotton tile, I would receive access to the cotton resource. Same thing up here with these dates. If I place a rural district on these dates, I will gain access to dates that then I can assign to one of my cities. So just to show you exactly what I mean, so you can see right now we have 5 food, 5 production, 5 happiness in our city. If I place a fishing boat on this navigable river tile here, this should then show 6, 6, 1, and 6. If I do that and then look again, now I have 6, 6, 1, and 6. So I receive the yields that are present on this tile. Now, rural districts also do gain additional bonuses from a number of sources. So the most common one is from technology. So if we go into the technology tree here and we look at sailing, you'll see that whenever I research sailing, I am going to acquire 1 additional food on all of my fishing boats. Similar thing with pottery. With pottery, I get 1 food on plantations and clay pits. And with animal husbandry, I will get 1 food or 1 production on camps and woodcutters and 1 food on pastures. There are a number of these technologies that you can find throughout the game. So just keep an eye out for what is contained in the little plus signs near the technologies in the technology tree. Rural districts also do get bonuses from other sources. So you can get them from wonders. Certain wonders that you can build will give you additional yields on your rural districts, and also certain buildings that are called warehouse buildings, which we'll talk about later on. Now let's go ahead and talk about urban districts instead. So urban districts in Civilization 7 are created whenever you construct a building. So you can see right here we have the option to construct a granary. When you place an urban district on a tile, you do not receive any yields from that tile, but instead receive the building yield. So you'll see here, if I take this granary and I place it on this tile, so this tile has 1 food, 1 production, 1 happiness. If I place my granary here, I will lose the production and happiness, and instead I will just get the 1 food that I receive from the granary itself. Now you of course do not receive this yield until you finish constructing the building. So you can see right now still we have 6 food, 6 production, 1 gold, and 6 happiness. You also can place urban districts over rural districts. So you can see I've reloaded the game, and this time I put my farm right here. If I go in here and instead I choose to put the granary on this tile, I will remove the rural district, thus losing the yields on it, but I will immediately be able to replace it to a different tile. So rural districts are always replaceable with urban districts, but urban districts are not always replaceable. So once you place down a building, it cannot be removed until it becomes outdated in the next age. Any building that is marked ageless can never be removed. So the granary that we've placed down, you'll see, is marked as ageless, which means now that we've placed this granary down, we are never able to remove it at any point in the game. Buildings that are not marked ageless can then be removed once you advance into the next age and they become marked as outdated. Whenever you place down either an urban or a rural district, you will gain access to all of the available adjacent tiles, so you can expand up to 3 tiles away from your city center. So if I were to place a district right here, I will receive this tile, and this tile, as you can see. Buildings in Civilization 7 also do have a cost to maintain. They cost gold and happiness that depends on the age that you're in. So in the Antiquity age, they cost 2 gold and 2 happiness. In the Exploration age, it's 3 of each, and in the Modern age, it is 4 of each. Urban districts and buildings also do have adjacency bonuses that are available, and they are grouped into a few categories. So food and gold buildings will receive adjacency bonuses from coastal tiles and navigable rivers. Culture and happiness buildings receive adjacency bonuses from mountains, natural wonders, and wonders. And science and production buildings receive adjacency bonuses from resources and wonders. So right now you can see that I am able to construct the library building Right here we have 3 adjacent resources, so you can see this the building has a base yield, which all buildings do have a base yield as well, so that's what you'll get no matter where you place the building, and then on top of the base yield you also get the adjacency bonus. So in the case of this tile, we had a base yield of 2 from the library, plus 3 additional yield from these 3 adjacent resources if we choose to put this here. Once again, if I'm overwriting my farm, I will simply be able to place this somewhere else on a different tile. So now you'll see as we advance the next turn, I skip forward in time a little bit, we are about to finish constructing our library, so we should end up on the next turn with 9 science per turn, -1 gold per turn, and 7 happiness per turn. Which is exactly what we see. Any building in Civ 7 that is not marked ageless will lose its yields whenever you progress into the next age, but keep its maintenance costs. So these outdated buildings' yields are reduced based on what age you are transitioning to. In the exploration age, outdated buildings will provide a maximum of 2 yields. So right now I have loaded a save where I'm in the exploration age. So you can see on this tile right here, I have constructed in an academy and a blacksmith. The academy normally should provide +4 science, and the blacksmith normally should provide +3 production. But since these buildings are both antiquity age buildings, they are now outdated. And since we are now in the exploration age, they are both reduced to having only 2 yields. If I go even further into the game, now we are in the modern age, you'll see that these 2 buildings, still outdated buildings, still an academy and a blacksmith, now have 3 yields because in the modern age, the maximum yield you can get from outdated buildings is 3 each. There are, generally speaking, 2 types of ageless buildings in Civilization 7, and they are warehouse buildings and unique buildings. Let's talk about warehouse buildings first, because they are kind of a unique type of urban building to begin with. So warehouse buildings are ageless, so they don't lose their bonus as the ages progress, and they cannot be built over. So any ageless building can never be built over once it is placed down. Warehouse buildings provide additional yields to rural districts that exist in the settlement but have no bonuses themselves aside from a small base yield. So these are things such as the saw pit, the granary, and the fishing quay. So you can see the saw pit, for example, is a production building, but it doesn't have the usual production building adjacency bonuses from things like resources and wonders. Instead, it just has a small base yield of +1 production and provides bonuses to rural districts that are present in the city. Warehouse buildings additionally do not have any happiness or gold upkeep cost. In cities, you can build both warehouse buildings and non-warehouse buildings. In towns, you can only purchase warehouse buildings for a particular cost. Do note also that some civilizations and leaders have unique bonuses that allow you to purchase other types of buildings in towns. So you can see if I take a look at this town right here, you can see it's a town, it's not a city. I'm able to purchase any of the available warehouse buildings. And as I mentioned, warehouse buildings will give you a bonus on rural tiles in the city. So this farm right here currently provides +2 food. If I build a granary, which provides +1 food on farms, now you'll see the farm provides 3 food instead. The other type of ageless building is typically the unique buildings, which are gained based on the civilization that you're playing. So I am playing as Egypt in this game, so I have 2, the mastaba and the mortuary temple. And you can see that these ones are also marked ageless, so as the age progresses, I will not lose any yields from these buildings. Since they're also marked ageless, I will never be able to overbuild these tiles, so wherever I place these tiles, that tile is now used up for the rest of the game. All urban districts in Civilization 7 have 2 building slots. A district with 2 buildings is referred to as a quarter, so if you see anything that provides bonuses on quarters, know that you have to have 2 current buildings present in an urban district for that to be considered a quarter. Whenever I say current, I mean that outdated buildings do not count towards forming a quarter. Some civilizations also do have unique quarters that provide additional bonuses when you construct 2 of their unique buildings in the same district. So since we are playing as Egypt currently, you can see that we have the necropolis, which is a unique quarter that will provide us 100 gold whenever any wonder is constructed in the city. So we've already constructed one of our unique buildings here. If we then go ahead and construct the mortuary temple, that will then form the necropolis unique quarter in our city here. Another very important thing to consider, especially in the early game, is that the palace, so the city center for your capital, receives a +1 science and +1 culture bonus for all adjacent quarters. So you can see that if we do go ahead and place the mortuary temple here, in addition to its usual yields, we'll also receive +1 additional science and +1 additional culture. This is very, very powerful in the early game, so whenever you're playing early on, try to make sure that you're forming quarters adjacent to your capital center. One other thing to consider is that whenever your city grows, in addition to the option to build a rural district, you also can place a specialist in an urban district. I'm not going to go into detail on specialists right now, but The only thing that's important for you to know is that specialists essentially have a food and happiness cost and in return provide additional yields based on what is in that urban district. For outdated buildings, you can build over them with new buildings once you are in a particular age. So in the Exploration Age, you can build over Antiquity Age buildings with Exploration Age buildings. When you overbuild, you do lose any bonuses from the removed building, although the UI does not make this very clear. So right here on this tile, you can see that we have a market and a bazaar. So a market is an Antiquity Age building that provides plus 2 gold at this point. A bazaar is a Exploration Age building, which is giving us 8 gold. So if I instead replace this market with an inn, we should lose 2 gold and then gain 8 food and 2 happiness, which you'll see if we go ahead and place this down on this tile. Then we've now lost the 2 gold from the market. So the UI really does not make this clear at all, but whenever you are overbuilding, you do lose the small amount of yield that you have from any outdated buildings there. So those are most of the basics of districts in Civilization 7. Hopefully you learned something in this video that can help you in your next game of Civilization 7. Hopefully I have been able to make the game a little bit clear because I feel as though Civilization 7 does not do a great job of explaining a lot of these mechanics. Let me know what you think of districts in Civilization 7 in the comments section below. But thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 7 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.